Hi, I'm Blake, and this is my Exploring Personal Virtues assignment. So, for my civic virtue, I chose responsibility because I think that as an educator, it's very important that you're accountable for your actions and you are just staying responsible with your obligations as well because you're obligated to your students and you need to be taking a lot of time out of your day to meet their needs and make sure that they're actually learning, especially if they have any questions or want to go to office hours or something like that. And then it's also just very good to be responsible and set a good example for them and be a role model. For my moral virtue, I chose compassion because I think that compassion is very, very important because you have to be able to understand the feelings of your students and make sure that they feel seen and heard in your class. And that's just really important because it'll help not only create like an inclusive environment where people are comfortable sharing, which is very important. I think it's essential for a classroom, but it also helps create just a level of respect between you and your students because if they don't feel respected by you, they'll never ever show you any respect. So that's why I think compassion is very important. And then the performance virtue I chose is diligence, just because you're going to have to be able to put in a lot of consistent effort and just pay a lot of attention to details and whatnot, and just like create lesson plans and everything like that, and just make sure your students are actually getting quality education. And then for the intellectual virtue, I chose open mindedness because it's very, very important as an educator to keep an open mind because your students are not always going to agree with you. More often than not, they're not going to agree with you. They're going to bring up different perspectives on things, and if you're just shooting them down or judging them and whatnot, then that's just not healthy, and you probably shouldn't be an educator. So it's always important to keep an open mind. So with the concept of Imago Dei, I think that the two virtues I find most important are compassion and responsibility. And I think that they line up with this concept because God is very compassionate towards us. He's always showing us mercy, no matter what we've done, whether we completely go out of our way and disobey Him or make it do things that would upset Him. He's always compassionate. He always gives us second chances, and I think that's a very important approach to have as an educator. And I think responsibility is also really good because you have a responsibility to your students. You have to be making sure that they're getting the best education that they could, and that they're also putting in the work that they can. And I think that God treats us like His kids. We are His kids, so He treats us like He's responsible for us, and He's always there for us. And so, character formation, I think that it's really significant for character development, and I believe that for teachers, you have such an important role in helping like form the character of your students, especially the younger your students get, the more impactful you're going to have as a role because your students are constantly exposed to you and you're going to be a role model for them. And so if you are not helping form them into better people, then you are not fully doing your job as an educator. Some strategies to foster character development is one thing is obviously just leading by example. Your students are going to pick up on what you are doing and how you're acting the most. And so by just setting a good example for them there, that's going to have the most impact. And then another thing you could do is just encourage like self-reflection. Have them look back on things that they did where maybe they've upset someone and analyze like what they did and how they can improve upon that so they don't make these mistakes again. Some tools and resources. There are books. Like there's one book that I found, Educating for Character, that I should read. It's got a lot of good stuff in there. There's also professional development courses that focus on social emotional learning and collaborative for academic, social, and emotional learning. They provide lots of resources there. And then also just from peers and mentors. A lot of my previous mentors were my history teachers, and I keep in touch with them. We talk a lot, especially when I go back and visit. And I want to be a history teacher when I'm out of college, so it's been really good talking with them and learning from them. And I think that that is one of the best ways to learn, is just talk to someone who has experience in what you're going into. All right, thanks for watching.